I feed her in her crate. But it was brought to my attention, how do you approach a dog that might be food aggressive? So I tend to approach with just adding stuff, like the rabbit pieces, and she's only got a couple of kibbles in there with some water to kind of help her out, because then I can start kind of moving it this way, and you can see she likes her food. But all I want to do is just show her that I add tasty stuff to her dish when she's doing it, so that I can try to start adding tasty stuff outside of her dish and having her kind of come away from it. What's this? I'm just crumbling rabbit in there. You can kind of see that she's competing for food, which is something that, you know, we can slow down the time. I haven't worried about that because she hasn't growled or grumbled or done anything to indicate, besides just speed eating, anything that I'm worried about. And that's okay, because usually, again, I add water to her food and go from there. So since that's not her full meal, I'm just going to keep adding food and showing her that my hand comes in, it adds more stuff. If you're having a dog have issues, you don't want to put your hand in front of their mouth though. So I might sprinkle it off to the side. And what do we do by teaching it off to the side is that we teach them away behaviors in order to go away from their dish, which is a high value thing, so that I can take their dish and re-add some good stuff to their dish. Because then she can go back to her dish and realize that I'm adding stuff as we go. So I like to teach incompatible behaviors like away behaviors when I do this. So go away from the dish to come back to the dish. And she can kind of finish that stuff up. And I'm only adding a few kibbles at a time, so that way she doesn't get a full meal in its one session. We're going to teach away and do a couple of sessions with one meal. You see how smart she is? She puts her foot in the dish to make it stop moving. She's not a dummy. So we're going to go away from the dish to take the dish and we add to the dish. Ideally, I kind of want to see her, I want her to see me add stuff to it. And I'll just re-add it. And again, if you're nervous, you can just be dropping stuff in the dish. It's hard to see from that angle, so I'll put it back this way. But if you're just dropping stuff in the dish and showing her that this side, that side, that side, that side, that my hand coming close actually means lots of good stuff. So I'm just going to push it back kind of in front of the camera here. There we go. So this side, that side. And you see, you don't have to put your hand really close to the mouth that way. Putting a hand close to a mouth that can, has a tendency to bite is something I'd rather not do. So with her, I'm not worried about her coming after me. She's just a fast eater, and she doesn't seem to be worried about it. So then, kind of another thing you can also work on is hand feeding. Harper, where I just give her some stuff from the hand. And we go over here again away from the dish, so I can pull the dish close and put more in the dish. I can see that. But that's the point, is to be able to go away from the dish and then show her I put stuff back in the dish. And she has no clue what we're doing because we've never done this before. So it's actually a good video. Come away from the dish. Good girl. So that I can go buy the dish with better stuff. And that's when I'm using some of the treats in there as well. So I have treats mixed in with the kibble that I use for away to kind of help her come away. I want high value stuff. But again, I want her to come away from the dish. So then let her hear I move the dish. Then I'm going to add more good stuff to the dish. And then I'm going to add more stuff to this side. And tasty stuff to that side. And pick up what she's dropped to that side. So that way she can get all this good stuff. Yeah, all this good stuff. And it's all good stuff being added. we have the tendency to subtract. We have a tendency to take away stuff. And we have a tendency to teach them that we're competing for food, where there's good stuff in there. There you go. Good girl. And I was going to help her hold the dish a little bit with my hand there, see? And she's not going after my hand. She just is a fast eater. She had to compete with other puppies, but there's good stuff in that dish. Good stuff in that dish. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's my girl. That's my good girl. So now she basically ate her meal with learning a few things, like the hand coming close is cool. And you can see towards the end, she was starting to come away from it, not as fast. And that's really what you want to see by the end of the session too. So you don't have to put your hand close to their mouth so that they don't eat it. You don't have to worry about, then letting her go away with something that she wants to do so that I can take the dish away if I'm worried, which I'm not, but it's another option for people to do with dogs, especially the ones that have lunged already or they're snapped or growl. You don't want to put your hand there. You don't want to teach them that that's the behavior that gets you to go away. You want to teach them that they can go away for good stuff, and then they can come back for good stuff, and then they can go away for good stuff, and then they can come back for good stuff. It's always adding. It's always a positive experience versus old school training wants you to take away stuff and you should be alpha, and I'm going to tell you point blank that doesn't exist. Dogs know that you're human. They know that you're not alpha. It doesn't exist in the dog-human world. So there are hierarchies in dog-dog, but there are no... piece of here that she missed. There we go. There are no alpha dominant people over dogs because we're not dogs and they're not people. It's just that simple. So again, I want them to live in my world safely, and my world safely means that if a hand approaches your dish, you can back away. That's the best behavior. Or that a hand approaching your dish is also the most positive thing that you can have come forward, because it likely is going to have treats and good stuff, and that just sets them up for success later on with other people coming over. If the more people that we use bring good stuff to their dish, eventually, the better they're going to be. So really, that's it in a nutshell. How to start.